Hello sweeties, Nanna Tazzie here, and it occurred to me while I'm making embellishments and stuff for the Dollar Tree Junk Journal Challenge that there are a lot of new people new to making junk journals due to this challenge that may not be aware of some of the stuff you can make out of you know, your calendar pages and whatnot. So I figured what I would do is just throw out some of the stuff that I'm making, roughly how I'm throwing it together, and you know, maybe give you some ideas, or maybe there'll be idea seeds that you guys can we'll think of something, you know, and run from there. So I'm going to do it chunk by chunk. It's going to be all over the place, I'm sure. This is as cleaned up as my table has been in a couple days, and it's actually spread to the floor. I have stuff everywhere. My book, let's start there. I haven't put it together yet. I've roughly worked out the pages that I want in there, and normally I'm notorious for overstuffing a journal before I even get this stuff in there, and have like big alligator mouth books. I just do. I love them. I don't really care. This time I've tried not to do that too terribly. Let's see, at the moment I've planned on 3 signatures, but that's likely to change. I'm going to do a separate video on how I put this together when I do it, because I'm going to do it differently than I usually do, which is the way Jessica actually did hers, is how I usually do my journals. But I'm going to do it separate, or do it differently for this particular journal, so I'll show you how I do that. Okay, first thing I started with when I started undoing all my haul stuff was write a list of possibles. Just things I might want to make or use, or to keep in mind while I was starting to cut things up. I definitely wanted zines. If you're not familiar with zines, this is a zine. And this isn't overly decorated or anything yet, but this is made out of 1 page. Oh, I don't think I saved one to show you. This is a full calendar page. Actually, I'll show you out of this. And that's gonna suck. Alright, but a zine, you would take a page. This is technically 2. Okay, you take a page of any size. When I first saw these done, it was a 8.5 by 11, just plain piece of paper, printed paper, just to show how it was done. But what you do is you fold, let's see, I don't think it matters which way you go first. Okay, but you fold it in half. Sorry, my hands are shaking really bad today. Oh, goodness. Okay. Fold it in half, fold it in half again. Okay, and you'll notice I'm not doing the hot dog hamburger thing because that confuses too many people. But I went left to right, fold it in half. Top to bottom, fold it in half. Now this bottom half we're going to fold up to what is now the top, which is actually the middle. Or would have been, flip it over, fold the top to the bottom. I will do a separate video on these. If you want one, let me know in the comments below. Because yeah, I'm going to rush through this one today. But it makes this shape, okay? So you've got your hills and valleys if you're understanding of how those work. But the important part here is this center fold. Center fold. Anyway, this center fold, we don't want to cut past this point, but we're going to trim here. And I'm going to cheat today because my hands are so shaky. Normally I would just unfold the page. Normally I would unfold the page and cut from that fold to this one, just down the center. But I'm not going to, that way I don't injure myself, hopefully. Okay, so we've got our fold, fold again, but we want this one. So from the very inside center fold to the last set of folds here. And I'm going to use a pair of scissors and very, very carefully trim. See if I can do this while shaking, because that's fabulous. Okay. Okay, so we trim off like hairs, right? We're going to unfold our page. We cut from here to here, just a trim. But we're going to stand it up now and take our centers, and the one that's folded the wrong direction now, we're going to fold the right way, and we're going to pinch here. Okay? So now we've got this odd, weird looking shape. And we're going to lay it flat as we can and make sure everything lines up like so. Okay, and then just fold every which direction you need to. Make sure all the folds are fabulous. And that's where I tore my paper off. And you can trim these and decorate them however you want. You can paint them, you know, do art in them, do whatever. But now you have what they call a zine. So it's just a little book like so. Okay, so that's how I made my zines from, let's see, calendar paper. Oh, I did have one. I'm tired, can you tell? But yeah, so these are my zines, and I'll finish decorating them when I get to decorating the whole book, make sure everything's even. But I made several of them, you know, just to have. I don't know if I'm going to use them all, or just a couple, or whatever. You can stick chunks of sticker in here, whatever. Okay? And I rushed on my glue job, so it's bubbly. You don't have to glue them down, and that's this one that I was going to show you with. But this is how they work. Okay? This is our calendar page. And just fold, fold again, fold, fold, and then trim from this fold to this fold all the way across the center one, which I tend to make shorter just so it's less to worry about. And then, yeah, when you unfold the main one, you'll bend one of these. One will be the right direction, one will be the wrong direction. So you'll fold it where you need to so that your book goes like so. And I've totally just messed that up already. Oh, that's funny. I guess you could fold it as is. Oh no, that wouldn't work. Okay. So, make sure it does this shape, and then lay it flat, go over all of your creases. Oh, that was the start, so I'll go there. But see, these aren't taped together. You don't have to. You could tape or glue along here. Let me do that real quick to show you. And I would use my wet glue for this personally, or usually. But yeah, just a little bit of glue, and you now have a pocket. Okay? I'll do the same here just because it will bug me if I do not. Yeah. So the front cover will be a pocket, and then we've got a couple pages, and this one will be a pocket, and then we're done. See? So those are zines. And you can, you know, make pockets. Let's see. You can take some of your scrap paper or make an actual nice pocket. And yeah, you can make pockets or belly bands, something that will go all the way across but hold it snug in your book. When you're making these things, keep your book on hand so you make sure you've got it the right size. I've done that in previous journals where I thought it was all on point and turned out it so wasn't. Which is fine, I just got a bigger cover, but yeah. For this particular challenge that might prove not awesome. Okay. Zines, check. Pockets and such. I've made, let's see, the set of, what are they, money cards, gift card things, which did have writing on the back, which doesn't matter because I'm going to cover them and turn them into things. Or should we do that? I am turning these, no, that one's not. Turning those into, no, that's not either. Oh wow, I don't know what I've done with my original pocket. One of them, oh, I bet it's in my book ready to be sewn in. I put a little bit of glue here and here and stuck that down just on the edges so it's its own pocket. And then I'm going to stitch this part into the signature proper so it will be a pocket all of its own, and then I can stick something else on the back, which I think I did. I think I made a belly band. If you pop these up slightly, just a little, and then stick, I see that'll work for here, and then just glue on those tabs, and whatever you stick over it, just give it a bit of a crease so it's not hard getting things in and out, and then glue that to the tabs, and you have a belly band that you can slide other things in and it will hold it for you. Okay, so those are belly bands. So yeah, that'll make a pocket. I'm also making random things. I cut one in half. It was like so. I didn't measure or anything, I just whacked it on a diagonal, and what I can do now is take a page, let's see, this will work. One of my pages, when I get to decorating the book, I can either slip that over like so and just glue down the side and the bottom just a little bit and have a pocket, or I can glue just the bottom and have a tuck spot like so. And I'd have two of them if I did it that way. I can also, because they can make their own pockets, I can glue this bit to here as close to the edge as possible, and along the bottom, and make an individual pocket that I can glue onto a page if I want to. Or I can do that, glue it to make it a pocket, and then glue just this part so I have a double pocket of the same shape. Again, if you have any questions, because I'm going to try and run through this as quick as possible, any questions at all, just let me know. You know, if it's the money cards or whatever, let me know which bit it was and what you need help with, and I'll make a separate video on how to do that. Okay, so I have two of those. I just cut one card in half so I can use them multiple ways. I cut a separate one in half, and what I'm going to do with these, I cut down some of the pad of paper that I had, and I'm going to stitch these in. I'm a sucker for miniature books, and these are bigger than I would normally do, but I'm going to make them into their own little mini books, and they can sit in a pocket, or I can glue the back on and to one of the pages and call it good. Okay, so I've got two of those ready to go. Those will be mini books. Okay, this one, and I'm hoping that is in fact dry. Yep. Okay, this one I just cut. Let me show you on here. I just cut one of the cards twice, just across the front cover, and I have glued very gently along the bottom and up the side on each piece, and I've done it separate. I did the first one when it was dry, I came in and did the second one, so I didn't stick them all together. But what I've done is create, let's see if I have something I can, oh, that might be too wide. No, let's try one of those maybe. But I've created a pocket, yeah, that one's too wide. Fabulous. Oh, I got glue everywhere. Be careful how far you glue over. That was the problem with that, I remember. Okay, so I will make small, actually I might use that as a dashboard. Huh. I may use that as a dashboard. I might get like the skinny sticky notes and just stick some in the back there. I don't have any on hand to show you. Okay, I will come back to that when I've got the book all put together and show you how I used it. But yeah, if you do it this way, be careful how much glue you're using. I didn't think about that when I put it together, because the edge here is really wide. So I just made sure that whole edge was covered, which is not what I needed to do. So, yeah, as far as what not to do, just tiny bits of blue. Okay, so that's those. Okay, let's see, that'll go there. Oh, other ways to do pockets and such. The envelopes that I got that came with the money gift card things, these I've been turning into these. And they're a bit rough right now because they've dried funny. But what I do to make these, well, I'll leave that in there so I remember. Is take your envelope, fold it wherever you think you might need or want it. I just guess I make them all different anyway. Some I like a real small edge and others I like big ones. Let's see, from here you take, let's see, oh, I don't know what I did with my other pretty one. Yep, that will work. Okay, you take one of your decorative papers, whatever you want as your background. This is from the note paper pad, and this is from calendar page. But what I do is make sure I glue and cover just to where you want the fold. So I would cut that there. Actually, let's just make one. Okay. It's going to be a bit rough. Be patient with me. Actually, no. I want to... I could have planned ahead. That would have made more sense, huh? And I apologize for the ice cream man, because he comes whenever he wants to. So I try not to plan around when he's going to be here. Okay, now I'm going to cut a little bit further than where I folded it, because I'm going to stick that next part on the bottom of the envelope, which will be the very front part. If that's a little bit big, we can trim it down. Okay? So, that's where we folded it. I'm going to trim that, and very roughly, there's my glue stick. Got a really good mesh here. I'm not sure I like this glue yet. Make sure before you stick that down that you line up your picture to make sure you've got it the right orientation. Otherwise, you could be very upset. I've done it a time or two now, and it's like, why? Okay, now, if you're not going to see most of this, I understand. Why does it matter? Because it makes pretty things. I don't know. Okay, so that was our original fold, and when it's all dry, come back later and trim up your overhang. But what we're going to do is make sure we've got our front, turn it this way, turn your envelope. It might take a couple tries. If you're new to doing this, I used to get them backwards all the time, and it just was annoying. So if that's something you might be worried about, definitely use paper that's patterned, or it doesn't have a specific direction or picture, and it's fine. I also, for other journals, these are ones I've made for other journals, and I just use spray inks that I made and stain them, and yeah, you can stick things on the front. These are made out of long envelopes. This is actually a pocket as well. So you've got a pocket here, and then depending on how you stick these on for the long envelopes, I usually glue gently here on the back, and then it's a side pocket depending on where the book is. But I have those in other videos. Okay, so inside, outside. Oh! See what I did there? I should have cut there. Oh, now I'm mad. Anyhow, you get the idea. I'm still going to use it. Still going to use it. Because it's a junk journal and we're not being precious. Do not glue this part. Okay, give it a slight fold or bend, just a little. That will make it easier when you're getting things in and out of your pocket later. I cannot believe I did that. See, it's really easy to screw up. Don't do them in a hurry, okay? Because, yeah, but there's your pocket. And then you can glue, depending on how your book is orientated, you can glue along the bottom, up the sides of the back, and the top will be a pocket as well, as I have for these ones. So I've got front pocket, and that could be a pocket, or you can glue like so, across the top, one side and the bottom, and have a side pocket for something other. Okay, that's where your miniature books and stuff might sit, like so. Actually, that will be perfect. I'll have to try and remember that. I can't believe I messed that up. Ah! I'm going to leave that in and not edit it out so you guys see this crap happens to everybody. And it's fine. It's no big deal. I'll still probably use it. Okay, so that's pockets out of envelopes. As far as envelopes go, I like to use them. I may not with these ones because they really are flimsy, like weak. But I like to take the back part and, let me use this again. If this was the page in my journal, I'd either decorate, spray, stick different paper, washi tape, whatever, all over this, right? Ink it up, whatever. But I would glue this part either, oh, that's not very good. I'd glue this part either down completely or run just a tiny bead of glue along here so you could use it as a tuck spot. Well, that might be too big. Use it as a tuck spot for something else. Okay? But what happens when you do that is, and then you can embellish with like a flower or whatever and still have a tuck spot for your paper. Okay? So when you turn the page of your journal, you have this, and you can use it to tuck extra goodies, notes, pictures, whatever in. Or you can, you know, add paper or stick a photo directly on there and just have a thicker flip out. Doesn't really matter, but I love things that flip out and are interactive. Oh no, that didn't glue very good. Okay, so there's lots of ideas for envelopes. You can also stitch them into the middle of your book. If you cut a slight, and don't cut directly in half on the top here. You would cut it at a slight angle so that you can open it if that was sewn in the middle of your signature. It would be, you would cut so this flips up and open and you'd have a small pocket. You can also, and this is what I prefer to do, use it as a corner pocket for 2 pages. And again, you cut it just enough that each side is going to move. So let's see. And I'm going to mess up a bunch of this stuff while I'm trying to show you because that's the way it goes, and I'm trying to do it in a hurry, which normally I'm not. Okay, so you've got this now, right? Just enough of it cut that when it's stressed from folding, from being folded. So this is your journal page. Mine I like to stick on the edge of a page, and I will glue the very bottom, and sometimes, depending on the journal paper, I will glue very gently along this edge, just for a little more reinforcement. But that way I've got a tuck spot this way, and I've got a pocket from the envelope proper. Okay? And it looks weird just sitting like this, but when you've got your book all put together, it just works, and I'll show you all that later. And actually, I think just for shits and giggles, I might just do 2 of those. Alrighty. So that's a couple of ways to use envelopes. There's so many things you can do with them. It's pretty fun, actually, trying to come up with new ways. Okay, so those I have corner pocket, Heidi pocket, multi-purpose tuck spots, right? Okay. The stuff I really wanted to show you though, let's see, that's those there. Oh, I've been making, I've been trying to stick as close to possible as everything I bought. The only fancy thing I have used are these scissors. I have a whole bunch of them, but I've only used 2 different type, and that is just to cut the flowers out. I don't own any punches anyway, but even if I did, I still think this would be the way to do it, to actually... Oh no. Oh, it's my dad. I'll get back to him in a minute. But yeah, I just... This was contact paper, peel off the backing, stick it to book paper. I did tear into my book because I did want to use book paper as well. I was getting bored with just the kids' writing paper, or writing tablet paper. And these, for the now, I had stuck down, and they don't stick very good because this is plastic. The contact paper is very plasticky. But it was supposed to hold until I could sew it. I'm going to do some basic stitches in the center. I'm also considering using the cardboard from the calendars to make buttons. I don't know if I want to get that into it or not yet. But if that's something you want to see done, let me know, and I'll show you how I do those. But these, the flowers, I'm going to, once I get them stitched so that they actually hold together, I will glue, oh, I'm losing all my stuff now. Well, it's all right here. I will glue paper clips to the back. And make sure when you do this, I've messed these up before as well, make sure you glue the right end, like this one. Well, no, I don't want to do it yet because I have to stitch them. You want the end, the top of the paper clip, not the bit that'll be sliding over other things. So double check that you've got that. And yeah, I usually put a blob of glue down, dip this in one side, lift it up, dip it in the other side, and then just really get it in there and make sure it's there. And then walk away. Don't touch it, don't move it, nothing. And I wish I had have found bigger paper clips, because normally I like great big ones. So we'll see how the little ones work, but if nothing else, they should slide over, if that was there, see? And then we just slide it thusly. It should make, normally I do this type of thing on the top of the book, so it would stick out like so throughout the book. But you can do that on the sides, or actually cut a piece of paper or stick it on like the edge of your pockets and make a little extra. Well, that's not glued. Yeah, make extra embellishments for your pockets or the things that you stick in them. Like that would be adorable, and then you'd still only use yay much, and it would look like so. But there's a lot of ways you can do those too. These are just random circle-y type shapes with fancy scissors. Not even fancy scissors, I guess. Stuck together, I'll stitch them, and when they're stitched, then I will glue them to paper clips. Which should be fine because these are all paper on the back, I think. Yeah, so yeah, that should glue just fine. If not, I'll just stitch around the paper clip as well. So that's the paper clip embellishment. I'll also be doing some, just making the regular paper clips where you tie ribbon and stuff. I'm just going to be using these embroidery floss to make those, and they will look something like that. And then, yeah, you just use those to mark the page that you're on or whatever. But yeah, those are the Paperclip embellishments. Oh, what else was I going to show you? Okay. Oh, I don't know if you guys are familiar with, have seen these at all, or know how to make them. So I've been making a whole bunch. I'm not planning on using all of these because I really got carried away. Let's see, it's the first one I made. I made sure to use the cover. Oh, excuse me a minute. Okay, this is the cover from the kids' writing pad paper. If you make one of these, I made a square, measured out a square, and then I used, I just found, this is freezer tape. It's all sticky. So I got my basic square shape that I drew out, and I just wanted, I didn't measure anything, okay, you guys? So I just made sure it was roughly half of my tape and cut that shape on each side. And this is what you've got. The reason for this is now my template, and I'll probably use this in the junk journal proper as well. But it makes these. You can use these on their own, or you know, stick them in pockets and stuff, or use them as pockets, just glue them in and, you know, keep little notes or whatever inside. But I wanted to show you how to make these because they are a lot of fun and you can use them for a bunch of different things. So what I've done ahead of time here, to keep in mind, you're going to have an inside that's visible and only this much of your outside that's visible. You can plan ahead with whatever papers and fabric and stuff that you've got to work out what you're going to see versus what you're not going to see. I cheated for this particular challenge and just used the covers from the calendar because it had pictures on both sides. Okay? So I didn't have to cover, and I could still with this one because I like this, but I don't really care for this one. So what I would do is just glue some pretty paper to this, cut that out, and then I'd have my inside pretty. Okay, so we've made our template, we've cut out our shapes. Okay, this is just from the calendar covers. That's so pretty. I don't care about the writing on this because we are doing a junk journal. It's fine. But once we've got our shape, the easiest way I have found to do this, we're going to fold from corner to corner. If you need to, get a ruler, get a straight fold. I don't, again, this is for a junk journal, but when you fold, before you squish it down really good, make sure it is corner to corner. Because if you get it off slightly, it might sit a little weird or just bug you. Now, it doesn't matter if you turn left or right. Doesn't matter. Just make sure whichever direction you go, I go to the left just from habit. Make sure you go that same direction every time. So we're going to go fold from corner to corner. So we've got 1, 2, turn to the left, 3, turn to the left, 4. Now you'll notice if I left it like that, it doesn't hold itself together like a cute little package. How do we do that? Well, this is the last one we did. We're going to tuck this edge of 4 into the first edge of 1. Sounds complicated, don't panic, it's not. See, look, lift the first flap slightly, tuck in the last one, and cinch it down. Just like when you're in a hurry, when you're moving and you fold the flaps of the boxes in, same thing. And there you have it. Just to show you again, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, tuck the first one, or the last one into the first one. Done. Now, You may want to be careful of which way you fold it, so that, you know, like this has writing on it, which I'm going to fold to the inside. If there's a particular pattern you want, definitely give it thought before you start doing it. Okay, this one I did really lazy and my corners are off. Doesn't matter that much because it's still going to work. See? Okay. Let's see, let's do this one. Oh, they're both pretty. Okay. So, corner to corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tuck the first one, or the last one, into the first one, like so. And these I'm probably going to glue into my journal, and they'll do this like so. Let's see, that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Tuck the last one into the first one. Okay, and let's do the last one. Ooh, that's a tough call. The hard part's to remember, most of the middle you're not going to see until it's open, or depending on you know, if you're going to stick it to a different page. But we have 1, 2, corner to corner, 3, 4, corner to corner. Tuck the last one into the first one. And you can go over this with you know, a bone folder or whatever, or not, it doesn't really matter. But that's how you make those. I don't know if these have a name. We've been making them for years when we were kids, and I didn't realize, you know, that was a thing for junk journals. But yeah, people are using them for sure. Okay. So, there you have your little treasure box things. The next thing I've been making is these. This one's going to take a minute. Well, no. Yeah, let me do this one. Alright. Keeping true to form for the challenge. I took some of the cardboard from the big calendar and undid one of the envelopes that was from the money cards and traced it out onto the cardboard, and this is now my template. So we're all legit above board here. I haven't used anything fancy. The reason for this, we're going to make envelopes. The reason we're making these envelopes is special. So, what I'm going to do is just show you real quick how I did this. I've got one cut out. There is, I believe, wait, let me start here. Let me start at my sides. Corner to corner again. Oh, I can't remember where I was going with that. There is a name. There is a name for this type of envelope, I guess, where the sides are shorter. They're not all sides and bottom aren't even. So when you glue this together, you're just going to do a little bit of the edge, just enough to stick it to here. Normally I would do that with wet glue, but most of this book I'm trying to do with just my little glue stick from the dollar store, just to see how legit I can keep it, and it's been quite the challenge. It's pretty fun. Okay, so fold your bottom again, stick it on your top, right? Fold your top down. Okay, now I'm doing 3 of these. You can do however many you want. Just make sure they fit in your book. What I'm going to do with them is make a waterfall folder, but instead of it going up, it's going sideways. So what I'll do, let's see, I don't have my book together yet, so I don't know if it will work to show you here, because this is still just rough idea what I want to do. Okay, say we were doing these 3 in here. What we would do is, let's see, yeah, I would go 1, to... Oh, my stomach thinks it's hungry. That's ridiculous. I hope you guys can't hear that. Oh, goodness. Alright. Let's set these out here. Okay. I want them just down a little from each other. The reason for that, let's see. Okay. I am going to stick these together, just the lids only. Okay? We've got them all laid here evenly. I'm going to glue only where this next envelope lid will sit, okay? And that's not straight, but that's okay. Again, junk journal, we are not going to sweat it. Wow, I think that fold is actually off. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so all three folds are stuck together, right? What we want to do is when we stick this in our journal, and I'll wait until the journal's put together to make sure I get placement correct, but what we're going to do is make sure, and I want them sideways, not up and down, because it's too wide for my book. All this stuff will fold in or I'll cut it off. Oh, excuse me. Okay, since we're going this direction, we're going to figure out where we want it to sit. And these then would come this direction, like so. This is how it would look in our book, okay? But we'd be able to unfold and have one envelope, two envelopes, three envelopes, okay? And we could do it this way, or I could do it so it all set out. Well, we'd have to make sure they all fit. And these aren't perfect or lined up or anything, but you know, if you're worried about that, you take a little more time and get it just so. But yeah, I don't want to mess with this when I'm putting my book together, so I will add this later, but I'll show you how it works when the book's all together. Okay, so that's my 3 envelope waterfall. You can do as many as you want, doesn't really matter as long as it fits in your book proper. So I'll set that aside to dry and get back to that later. Okay, that was, keep all of your, if you make templates for anything, keep them. You will use them at some point for something. Okay, last bit here. I love itty bitty, oh there it is. I love itty bitty coin envelopes as tags. Right, I don't know if that'll fit. I haven't made tags for these yet. But as tag pockets, and you can paint them or cover them with, oh goodness, I've got a couple from different projects that I'm working on painting them. Yeah, I didn't want to cheat and just cover them in calendar paper or whatever, so what I did was I took one of the coin envelopes, I tore it apart, and I used this as my template, which I did on the rest of the cover for the kids' writing tablet, and glued that together. I also traced it onto the contact paper that I got for this project, or for this challenge, and then peeled off the backing, stuck it to book paper, and then stuck it all together. Which is what these are here. These are just my contact parts. I do recommend folding them before you stick them to anything, and when it comes time to sticking them, and this is what I wanted to show you because I forgot about it on the first one and had some issues. I'm using calendar paper, just the pictures. You could use whatever you got for your challenge. Okay, I'm going to make sure. Well, I'm hoping. Maybe that way. No, 6 and 1, I think. Let's see there. Maybe I can. Oh, we might have to be really creative. Anyhow, when you peel your backing off and you stick your paper on it, you can stick it on the whole piece. But I found it easier if you leave the bottom tab, leave the contact sticky, and these sides aren't even because this one flaps, this one sticks onto here. So this would be tab A, fold it first, and then you stick down tab B. But if you leave just enough of this exposed, once you get your paper stuck on here, don't cover up the whole thing. I'll show you what I mean. And it takes a little bit of thought, because yeah, I didn't think about it the first time, and then it was a pain in the butt to stick it together just so, because I'm using contact paper, which essentially is plastic and it doesn't want anything to stick to it on the non-sticky side. So we pre-folded it, peel off our sticky. I'm going to do this off my mat here, just so I remember to leave a little bit there. Let's see, I want to use this part. Oh, it's going to be a pain in the butt. And this isn't rocket science. There's probably easier ways to do this without messing it up. But I've just been slamming through and getting as many done as I can. Okay, and that's not lined up real well. Okay, and I didn't quite get to the crease, so what I'm going to do is take a tiny chunk of scrap paper and stick it to the contact paper edge so I don't have to worry about that. There we go. Alright, now because we've got the bottom is exposed still, and here we want to like not touch it if we can help it. Make sure everything looks good before you worry about trimming it. And then cut around the shape you've already made. And I don't know if there's a faster way to do this. I think it's just one of those time-consuming things. But they're adorable when they're finished, for sure. Okay. Alright, so when we put this together, we still have our exposed bottom and the second flap, right? Make sure everything's stuck down real well. Oh, I didn't trim that very good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start with the shortest side flap. And then I'm going to stick the longest one to it, sticking that foreshore here. Make sure you've got corner to corner lined up for your fold. I'm going to stick this part first and then do my crease. Okay, so now you've made a tube. Okay? Okay, now we fold that down again and we just pull the bottom sticky exposed contact paper up and stick it, and now we have a teeny tiny envelope. And if you wanted this sticky to use, I don't know, stick it down with glue or whatever, that kind of defeats the purpose of making an envelope, I think. Or I like to make these into pockets for tags and stuff, which I haven't really made many of yet. But that's how I did those, okay? And I won't, you know, I won't repeat the process. I've got a couple more to make, but that's essentially how I made them. And yeah, if you guys want a longer video on those, let me know, and I'll put that for another time. But that's what I've got so far for those. Oh, and you can make, you know, I didn't get any for this challenge, but you could use, actually I could take these off and like stitch them on here and make cute little embellishment things for them. You can glue them to a book page directly, or again use them as a tag or whatever in other things. Okay, there's a lot of things that you can do. You can mix match all of these ideas. It doesn't really matter. I'm known for sticking them sideways on something, so I've got a pocket going this way. But if you glue just here, here, and here, then you also have, you know, you've got your long-sided pocket, which is actually your envelope, and then because this part's stuck, let's see, shove it in there, this part's stuck down, this would also be a pocket. I like double pockets, I guess. More storage. Okay, so those are my little, I guess, coin envelope, little baby envelopes, mostly out of contact paper and calendar pages or book pages. Okay. All right, what else did I make for the challenge here that I wanted to show you? I think that was it, actually. Oh, I'm working slowly. It's taking way longer because I keep getting excited about making other things. You can take your notepad papers. I folded this one and stuck a calendar to it where that door hanger was. So this will go on, let's see, if this is our journal page, I'm most likely going to stick this, just glue very gently in the crease so that this flips up. And I can write under, you know, write on it and under it, or stick something here that's hiding or whatever. And this stuff will flatten out, you know, as we get going. But the other side I can either stick down proper or have same thing. Okay, and I could stick it sideways if I had planned ahead, but this one I want it over the top. You can do all sorts of stuff like that with just your notepads anyway. I am also using, make sure you've saved all the tags off your stuff. I'm still in the process of gluing calendar paper to it, and turning them into pockets or tags or other things, okay? You can do one-sided, two-sided, keep them folded, cut them and make smaller things out of them. This one I'm making a bookmark type thing, and I'll add embellishment string and stuff to the top, and then chuck that in one of the pockets I've made, like so. Out of the back of the calendar, all those little bitty pictures. Some of these will be tags or journaling spots, or just, you know, cards. Some will be tags proper. Some will be glued in as belly bands. Like this actually would make an epic belly band. But you just glue the top and the bottom, and then it will hold, if I wanted to stick that in, it will hold your chunkier stuff in, okay? So you've got belly bands you can make out of stuff. Oh my god, there's so much you can make out of the packaging itself. Seriously. Pockets, envelopes, tags, trim. You can cut things out of it like flowers or butterflies or whatever. Some of these I'm thinking about sticking on the bottom of the page. I like to do just hang spots. I don't know what you'd actually call them. But you just put just enough glue on the bottom that it keeps this part flat, so that you can stick, you know, whatever other random things, and it just holds them there. So a tuck spot, I guess, but not on the side or the corner. It's actually right there. So yeah, these will all be tuck spots and that type of thing. Tags. I've got a couple that I'm considering just cutting out and just using as a decoration on something other. Again, you can just keep embellishing and embellishing and embellishing. So you could take, like this edge, say, if you had, say you wanted to cut out this rose or this flower even, and stick it right there, so you can still use this closure. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could still use this closure, still tuck it in, but you'd have a flower on the top stuck right here. It'd be glued there. Or you can do that with your paperclip. You know, paperclip a flower to one of your edges, and it would look like a little gift box. Oh my gosh, my throat hurts. Trying to think of what else. I'm sure there's a million. Oh, you can use these as flip outs, fold outs. Just use tape or fold it a little bit and just glue it and on the edge of your page, and just have flip outs that you can hide stuff, turn into pockets, whatever. Up, down, sideways, it doesn't matter. Oh, I'm also working on these. They're still drying. Remember I said I got this for a specific reason. I'm going to turn these mostly into little photo spots, and I'm still working on them, but this is why you keep all of your wrappings and stuff, okay? I can cut this down, or all of the plastic wrap that everything came in. That one's glued a little far. But I can cut these down and make sure they're, well, that one's not straight. Make sure they're where I need them to be. And I would make sure it's glued just enough to cover the hole and leave somewhere to put a photo in, either at the top or at the side. But now I can protect my photos with the plastic, and I can do, you know, waterfall bits. I can put it over the top of the page, like this one, but actually have photos in there that I can get in and out. You can also use these, do the same thing, and if you got any of the teeny tiny nail, fingernail embellishments and or glitter or any of that, you can make your own, pardon my head, but you can make your own version of these, just a little flatter, and you don't have to put water in them, but make your own shakers based on this stuff. So that's what I'm going to do with mine. I'm going to make them into photo cards mostly. And I have a bunch of them started, and they're all drying weird because I didn't flatten them out, but they should be fine again. Once I get them smashed in the book, it's going to be fine. Oh my gosh, you guys, I think that's about all I can think of for this video. Yeah, there's so much you can do. Just don't limit yourself. Nothing's a stupid idea. Nothing's a stupid question. So if you have any, hit me up. And if I can't help you, I'm sure somebody in the community can. Let's see. But yeah, pockets, tags, zines, belly bands, tuck spots, corners, corner tucks. I may or may not, depending on how much time I have, you know, do some crochet, edging. You can sew your books. You can, you know, stitch all over the place. I'm going to work on this some more, because, you know, I'm not a huge fan of it. I just thought it was great that I had something to work with. But, you know, you can pull these apart, take that off, use it on something else. You can, you know, make your own beads out of paper, which I'm thinking about doing. We'll see how much time I have. Actually, I might do some paper beads and just hook them on here somewhere. But there's so many options you have, you guys. Like, if you feel stuck or just completely brain fart, hit up anybody who's doing the challenge. I'm sure somebody who is willing to help you. And yeah, if you found this helpful at all, I know it went crazy fast and whatever, but if it was helpful at all, please give me a thumbs up so that I know whether you comment or not. But yeah, hit me up with a thumbs up so that I know it was helpful to somebody. Also, if you think somebody else could benefit from ideas like this, please share it. Definitely not going to hurt my feelings, but could help my channel grow, which I totally appreciate. Alright, you guys, I'm going to get back to putting all this together, and I think the next video I do for the Junk Journal Challenge will be putting the actual journal together, and then I'll probably do a separate one on how I put my journals together, like how I decorate it, and that will probably be a sped up one with music because it's gluing stuff in. It's really not exciting, and I'm pretty sure you guys can figure it out, even people who are very new. If I don't do that, then I'll definitely just do a flip through one. But remember, we've got until October 7th, I believe. I will put the link for Jessica from I'm a Cool Mom channel down below. And yeah, I will see you guys in the comments, okay? Good luck with everything you're doing. I cannot wait to see everybody's stuff done. It's going to be so cool. And yeah, thanks again to Jessica for doing this. It's been awesome just to get out of my comfort zone. It's been very challenging. So, kudos. But for the now, I love you. Okay, bye.